Maseches Soita Daf Lamed Zayin. The Gemara brings machlokes if by Kriyas Yamsov the Shvatim were arguing and each one wanted to go into the Yamsov first, and the other man holds no. Each one of the Shvatim were arguing they don't want to go into the Yamsov first. There's two interesting ha'oros that the Chayrim ask on this machlokes. I in the Sefer Peres Teina they asked a tremendous ha'orah. According to the first man, the Amma that Shvatim were arguing, each one wanted to go into the Yamsuf first. And Shver from that the Magen Avraham is mavur that you shouldn't be misguided, you shouldn't fight over any mitzvahs, and that's why it's mavur that Snuim Moishchen es Yedeyim from the boss of the Karbonis and the Beis Hamikdash, because you shouldn't be misguided and you shouldn't fight about a mitzvah. So tzorich Ian, what's understanding over here in this man Amma that they were fighting over who should go into the Yamsuf first. Ein Sichas Musar from Reb Chaim Shmulevitzer in the Vracha that asks, all the Shvatim was saying they don't want to go into the Yamsuf first, and he says it's tzorich Ian because you find Klal Yisrael throughout the Deiros ready to be moise nafsham akdushas Hashem. So why is it that the Klal Yisrael at the time of Yamsuf weren't ready to go into the Yamsuf first to be moise nafsham akdushas Hashem? So Chaim Shmulevitzer says the answer to this question is that if the nidin was to go into the Yamsuf to be moise nafsham lemisa akdushas Hashem, they would have all been ready to moise nafsham akdushas Hashem. Over here, the challenge was to go into the Yamsuf and keep on going in, like the Gemara elaborates by Nachshon and Aminadov, with the Haftocha of Einan Mulvadoi, and have Bitochen Gemur that Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to split the Yamsuf. That was a different level of a challenge, and the Shvatim weren't ready to go in first. Moving further, the Gemara says, according to the first man, the Alma, that since Shevet Binyamin went into the Yamsuf first, so therefore Zocha Binyamin v'nasu ushbezichin l'shchina. Rashi says that the base Kotche HaKadoshim is Boni B'chalkoi, and he is the ushbezichin for the Shchina itself. Ayin Yeshurim from David that brings it to Biskrov as that's Mavur, the Gemara in Zvachim and the Gemara in Yuma, that the Nekuda that Binyamin was Zeicha was not the base Kotche HaKadoshim, is Bechalkoi, rather that the Oren is Munach Bechalkoi Shal Binyamin. Ein the Sefer Ezem Makoimon that brings from Hagoyin Remeir Tzvi Bergman's Shlita that answers this kasha, and he says there's two independent schiyas that Binyamin Atzadik was Zeicha. He was Zeicha like in Mavur now, a sugi over here, because the Shevet of Binyamin went into the Yamsuf first. He was Zeicha for the Kotche HaKadoshim to be in his Chelik, and there is an independent Schiyah that's Mavur in the sugi in Yuma and Zvachim, that he was Zeicha because he was Mitzstar tremendously on the Mokim of the Shechina that should be specifically in his Chelik, and therefore Binyamin was Zeicha that the orange should be Munach Bechalka, and that's two different Schiyas that he was Zeicha. What's Mavur in our Sugi and Saita, that because they went into the Yamsuf first, they was Zeicha for the base Kotche HaKadoshim Bechalka, and that's Mavur in the Sugi and Yuma because he was Mitzstar on the Mokim Ashchin, and specifically because of its Tsar on Kvod Shemayim Yizeicha for the Oren that represents the Torah of Ayin Shamoit. Moving further on, the Gemara in Beis discusses the Arvus, the Klal Yisrael was Mekabel for one another to Mekayim the Torah, and the Gemara says that there was 48 Krisis Bris on all of the 600,000 people. And the Gemara brings a machlokes, it was Arvo, Arva the Arvo. There's a number of very strong ha'oros on this sugya. Ein the Rosh and Brachis in the third parak that we brought in the Shurim and Brachis Daf Mem Ches, that the Rosh says that Noshim are not Bechlal Arvos, and they can't be Moitzi men because they weren't Bechlal Arvos. And there's a machlokes Dogel Mevovo and Kreger and Pshat in the Rosh that we brought in the Shurim Brachis Daf Mem Ches, that the Dogel Mevovo learns the Rosh Kipshuta that there's no Arvos for Noshim, and Noshim can't be Moitzi a man his chiyuv, because Noshim are not Bechlal Arvos. However, Kvega argues, and Kvega says that Noshim are Bechlal Arvos, and the Kavono of the Rosh is that specifically a mitzvah that Noshim are not mitzvah and they're not Bechlal Arvus, but a mitzvah that Noshim are mitzvah in the same way the Mechuyev and the Ikar mitzvah, so too the Mechuyev and Arvus of the mitzvah that they are Mechuyev in. And the Tzlach asks, Arnie Kveger, from the Sugi over here in Soita, over here we see in Soita that the Arvus was on 600,000 people that were Yotzim Mitzrayim. And 600,000 people are men and not including Noshim. So you see clearly from the Sukkah over here that Noshim are not included in Arvus. And Tzorchi, and that Rabbi Kveg is saying that a mitzvah that Noshim are mechuyev to do, they could be moitzi anoshim because they are b'chlal Arvus if they are mechuyev in the mitzvah. And a similar kasha that Achronim ask on that's mavur in Rashi and Nida. The Rashi Nida says that there are those that say that koshim gerim Yisrael kesapachas is because since gerim are not nizer b'dikduki mitzvahs and kol Yisrael arevim zel lazeh, and we are orev for the averis of the gerim, so therefore koshim gerim Yisrael kesapachas. And Rashi argues, and Rashi says that no, there's no chiyuv arvis for Gerim, since Gerim weren't here at the time of the Krisis Bris. So therefore, we shouldn't have the chesaron of the fact that we are a orev on the mitzvahs of a ger. And the Chayim asks, if that's the case, that there's no arvis for a ger, then it's tzorchi that's mavur. And the sugya in Rosh Hashanah Daf Chavtes that the afal pisha yotza moitzi, if someone's yotza mitzvah he can moitzi somebody else, is because Kol Yisrael arevim zelazeh. So it'll come out that gerim, since there's no arvis for gerim, you can't be yotza a ger his chiv in a mitzvah which is tzorchi and gadol. I in the Sefer Chikrei Leiv, and I in the Sefer Birchas Avram over here that asks that's further shver because that the 600,000 people that were included in this Kabbalah's Arvus at the time of Yetzias Mitzrayim was only people that were over 20. However, anyone that was under 20 was not Mekabal Arvus. So too you shouldn't be able to be mitzvah them with a mitzvah which is Tzorichi and Gadol. Another kasha, because Kohenim and Leviim are not included in the 600,000 people, and they're also not included in Arvus. And it's a Pelat Suma, how could it be that there's no halacha of Afal Pisha Yatsa Moitzi by Gerim, by someone that's less than 20, by Kohenim Leviim, by Noshim? I need to say for Ali Ber, from Goyin was real cat shlita. This is a beautiful mahalach to answer these kashas, and he says that be'emes, there's a tremendous discussion in the Meforshim with the Geder of the Kabbalah's Arvus in our Sugya. Baruch Ber, in Chedushi Yeshuri, clears the Chakir, what's the Geder of the Kabbalah's Arvus? Is the Kabbalah's Arvus on the actual mitzvah that we are oriv on the actual mitzvah, or it's not on the actual mitzvah itself, rather on the Oynish. We are mechuyev, Noinshim, that will come to someone that's over on the mitzvahs but not on the actual mitzvah. And Baruch Ber brings their B'chayim brought a raya that a korchoch Arvis is in the Ikke Cheftzo, the mitzvah, from the fact that it's Mavur in the Sugi Rosh Hashanah we mentioned before, that Afal Pishi Yotze Moitzi is because of Arvis, so therefore it's Mavur, that since my friend is missing in the mitzvah, so therefore it's as if I'm missing in the mitzvah and I'm considered mechuyev in the actual mitzvah, so therefore I could be moitzi my friend his chiyev in the mitzvah. However, the Sefer Ali Ber proves that's mavur in the Teisah Rosh, like the other side in Baruch Ber, that the din arvis is not in the actual mitzvah, rather it's only aloha on the schayvis for onshim. Because Teisah Rosh explains what's the beer in the Gemara, that the Gemara says is a machloikis arva, the arvach, what does it mean, orev or orev? Klal Yisrael's makabel arvis and all of the mitzvahs in the Torah, so what does it mean, you're orev or orev? The Ein Sefer Oris from Rabbi Yashiv and the Joseph of the Merit that say that the Pshat in the Gemara is that you're orev for the orev, that means l'moshel, if there's a dayan that can be moicha on the city from doing an Aveira, and he's not being moicha, someone else has to be moicha and tell the dayan that he has to be moicha on the Yidden and stop them from doing an Aveira. So that's the Orev to Orev. However, the Teisah Rosh is a whole different Pshat in the Gemara. The Teisah Rosh says the Arvach means that if one of Klal Yisrael passes away after one of the Yechidim, is over on the Aveira, and he was Mechuyev Oynish. Because he's Bechlal, the Arvis of the Yid that was over on one of the mitzvahs. The question is if the Oynish that he was supposed to Makabel gets split up with the rest of Klal Yisrael of Arv. The Arvich means that others have to get a chilik of the Oynish of the one that was mace. So it's before in the Tosei Rosh clearly that the discussion now is Sukya of Arvis is the Gabi Kabbalas Oinshim and the Chiyuvim of one that's over and doesn't do the mitzvah, but not like Reb Chaim says that it's on the actual chiyuv of the mitzvah. So Seif Ali Ber says, according to this, it's Miyushiv Heitiv, the kashas that we mentioned before, because that's mvur now sugya that noshim or someone that's less than 20 or geirim or kainim aviyim or napechlal arvus, that's referring to kabbalas oinshim. That means if someone is nichshel naveira, others get a oinish. Bechlal, his oynish, but it's not a discussion, the actual chiyuv of the mitzvah. And he brings another makor, Sugin Shvuas, that one is mechuyev for someone else's mitzvah. So in Mela, although noshim are not included in this mitzvah, nevertheless, it's mvur kvegam noshim are bechlal arvis, and it passes the halacha of afal b'shiyatz moitzi, and even somebody that wasn't 20 or kayan and that's not b'chal arvis, it passes the halacha of afal b'shiyatz moitzi, which is independent halacha and it's not connected to our sugya b'chlal. Our sugya, according to the Tosei Rosh, is only discussing chiyuvim and oinshim for the averis, but not a chiyuv, an actual mitzvah itself.